Thank you, Commissioner. Managing Director Gramegna, the floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone, and a special hello to Valdis Dombrovskis, for whom it is the first press conference I have the privilege to do with him in his new function, but his long experience with the ECOFIN and Eurogroup will be extremely precious for all of us. I can be very brief. Today was an important discussion on government's fiscal plans, and I'm glad that I could witness that and say that overall the ESM welcomes the commitment of all countries to implement the new fiscal framework. In fact, the new fiscal framework has a double objective. One is to ensure efforts by countries in having sustainable fiscal policies on the one hand, and at the same time ensure that there is sufficient public investment. And I think, as the Commission also explained, this double objective has been achieved. Nevertheless, the ESM recommends that all the countries should remain vigilant. I also mentioned that in the discussion with the IMF. Vigilant because there are external factors that create uncertainty, and there's also internal risks. On the external factors, it is clearly what is going to be the policy of the new American administration towards Ukraine, so geopolitical risks, and on the other side, what's going to happen in the field of trade policies. And if increased tariffs are going to be decided, it will impact Europe quite a lot, because Europe is an area of the world that is a champion in terms of export. And the recipe for Europe cannot be to retaliate. And I think there was also quite consensus on that with the IMF. On the internal side, it is important to underline that the risks for the economic outlook are tilted versus the downside. And therefore, I think it is obvious that all countries must think in terms of having a sufficient buffer to implement their programs over the next year and the years to come. At the EU level, it is also important to focus on growth, because growth is the best way to ensure competitiveness. And here I'd like to highlight a study done by the IMF, which underlines that if we were to reduce trade barriers inside the EU single market by 10%, we would gain 7% of growth inside the European Union. So this is the right answer, I think, to the challenges that we have. And the other challenge and the other internal answer we can give to the downside risks of the economy is the Capital Markets Union, where there's still a lot to deliver, including the backstop to the Single Resolution Fund on the one hand, and lots of other items that I will not repeat. In fact, we as ESM think that what is needed in these times is more Europe and not less, and you can count on the ESM to deliver its part.